So hello everyone. Thanks for Storj for having me here. My name is Vaughan. I'm co-founder and chief commercial officer at Pedagene, which is the company that's created the cunoFS product, which provides future-proof and high-speed file-based access to cloud performance platforms, cloud storage platforms, I should say. Pedagene has been around for 8 years, creating high-performance software solutions for the life sciences industry, pharma companies, clinical customers, government, and research. Here's a list of logos that of Pedagene customers over the years. These customers have bought hundreds of petabytes worth of compression services from Pedagene, specifically in genomics. In 2018, we created the cunoFS brand. We started working on the cunoFS brand, which gives file system-like access to object storage, like S3 storage provided by Storj. The problem that cunoFS addresses is how to give file system-like access to buckets, to S3 storage, without changing the objects. So up until now, people have thought you could only do two of those three things. You could either have file system-like access, or you could do it performantly, or you could not modify the objects. You couldn't do all three. And the type of approach of other vendors was where to give this file system-like access, the objects were modified into a proprietary format. The files were sharded, meaning that there needed to be a gateway to reconstitute them in order to run workloads from the file system. Because they've been sharded, they also needed to be reconstituted through another gateway for object workloads. And on top of that, the metadata needed to be served from a metadata server for both file system access or object access. So there are many bottlenecks in this kind of architecture, and this is not what we do. cunoFS is the first and only solution to do all three things at the same time, giving file system-like access to unmodified object storage fast. And we've redefined what speed means in this sense. The architecture of cunoFS is very simple. The objects are unmodified. The buckets are not moved, or the data does not need to be ingested anywhere. And the file format is the native object file format. So there's no proprietary backend here. The unmodified objects appear as files in the file system to the user. There's no gateway, there's no server, there's no metadata server. We do support the metadata from the file system, but there's no metadata server. There's no kernel module, and native objects can access the objects as before. They just appear as files in the file system. cunoFS is simply a client software which is running on the client machine. Benchmarking has been done on Storj in May 2024 on a 700 megabit per second link. LucidLink was benchmarked at 482, copying data from S3 to the local storage. cunoFS came in slightly faster at 491 megabits per second. Mountain Duck and rclone and other open source solutions were much slower. Doing subjective workflow testing with Adobe Premiere showed that it was similarly responsive to LucidLink and felt very snappy on Storj, AWS, Wasabi, and Backblaze. So that's the end of the presentation part of this presentation. I'd like to hand over now to Dal, who's one of our software engineers, who's going to give us a demonstration live of all the steps to use cunoFS on Storj.
This is a demo of cunoFS. cunoFS is a tool that exists on Linux, Mac and Windows, and for Mac and Windows there's a GUI. The first time you load cunoFS, you need to import credentials. Here you can see that there's a variety of cloud vendors and also a whole lot of other under the hood that have been tested. And actually, you can import settings for arbitrary S3 flavors. We're going to import Storj credentials today. Once they're imported and the bucket is configured, the mount is configured, it is now active. So cunoFS doesn't, the GUI does not have to be looked at again. Now that mount appears as a local network drive, and here we have a movie. We're going to drag it into Premiere Pro, just like you would with a local file. It's being imported, and there it is. And very quickly, okay, so you can play it right out of the box, you can scrub it. So this all feels very snappy and instantaneous, and yet you're working on a file which is actually an object in a bucket. The egress is being minimized, the amount of data that's been downloaded to the machine to do this is minimized, and the user experience is as if it was local.
So it's a read-write tool which you can edit out of buckets as if it was part of the local file system. You don't ever have to go to the cunoFS GUI again after you've configured the bucket for the first time and given the credentials. Everything just looks like it's part of the local file system. So it's as simple as that. We'd welcome anyone to ask us for a demo. The Linux version is available on the website for a free evaluation, and you can register for a 30-day eval on our website. The Mac and Windows versions are in beta and will be available at the end of this show in public release, general availability. In the meantime, please contact us through the website to get a copy of the Mac and Windows clients. Thank you very much.